Good afternoon, folks. I am Sean in Alaska. Glad you could join me today. I'm looking down towards the bottom of the comments. Let me know if I've got good audio and good video today or not. Greatly appreciate that bit of information. And for those of you new here, and the regulars, you guys are all here. I can see that. I like to read all the comments as I see them pop up on the screen. And if you've got a question or a comment that you want me to address specifically, please do me a favor and put it all in caps so it jumps right out to me. If I miss your comment or your question, or I miss saying hello to you, it's not intentional. By all means, say hi again, throw your question or comment back in again. And if I've already replied to it, I will definitely skip over it the second time. But man, what a busy weekend I've had. What a wonderful weekend I had. A little foggy, but you hear me? Okay, Jerry, awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Scotty, blurry. It could just be you, Scotty. You could be old. Let me jump back up here to the top and say hello to some folks that got here real early. Bacon Grease was here at 2:20. I don't know if I've ever seen you before. So welcome. Glad to have you here, Foggy Mountain Man. Glad you could make it as well. JD from SC. Sure missed my Sunday morning video. Howdy, Sean, and everybody. So let me address that real quick. And we'll go into a little bit more detail on it a little bit later on in the live when I've got, I'm sure everybody's in here. I did move the release dates for my videos from Sunday morning to Friday. And I did it on the suggestion of a bigger channel than I am. And they had basically told me, look, you're getting tons of views, you're getting tons of content, but your views have got to be doing what mine do on Monday and dropping off pretty drastically. Because the first day of the week, most folks are not really focusing on watching YouTube. So they suggested I go to Friday. And originally when I was doing the whole channel, when I first started everything, Friday was my release date. And I went to Sunday because I didn't see a whole lot of channels releasing on Sunday. So that's why I switched it back to Friday. And it's probably going to stay there. It'll work out, I think, better as we get into summer and things get really, really busy. It will give me a chance to jump on top of the work that I can do in that shorter window. But I think it'll work all the way around. And I'll go into some specific numbers of why I did it, because it really did work wonders for this Fridays, for this week's video release. But that's why I changed it. It'll stay on Fridays for a while now. But as long as I can continue to do them, I'll do the lives on Sunday, because I just like hanging out with you guys on Sunday afternoon. I've got dinner cooking over here. It's kind of like a ritual with me. I get the big dinner going, and I hang out with you guys for an hour. So let me jump back through here. Jerry, Canadian, good to have you here, my friend. Awesome to see you. Charles, you made it right on. Thank you, dude. Glad you could be here. Julie Clary, the feisty grandma, thank you. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm going to turn this slide off here. There we go. Patrick Allison, dude, how are you, man? Awesome to see you here. Thanks for joining me. Carol L., thank you for making it. Scrolling through here. Arthur Fiala, glad you can make it, my friend. Awesome to have you here today as well. Jim from Woolly Rhino Adventures. Sitting here enjoying an ice cream sandwich, waiting for the show to get on the road. Scotty's Backyard Barbecue. And Scotty's in blue because he's a moderator, and I see Kathy's here as well. So by all means, guys, the usual routine, if you guys see other channels in here, do me a favor and share the channels out, because most of my friends here that have other channels that are in here are awesome, awesome people. And share your own channels out as well. Scotty's Backyard Barbecue, definitely a great channel. Scotty, congratulations on the purchase of your new home. I can't wait to see the first thing you cook there, dude. I cannot wait to see the first thing you grill in your backyard. Patricia Alejandro, hello from Argentina. Very cool. I don't think I've ever had anybody from Argentina comment on a video, let alone join me in a live. Awesome to have you here. And I hope I got the last name right. Alejandra is, I think, how you say it. He's back, Foggy Mountain Man. Awesome. Big Bear Prepper. Welcome, man. Good. Yep, I knew. I thought I saw Kathy here. Kathy, welcome. Thank you very much for joining me today. Jolie Pettit. probably one of my first subscribers ever, and just an awesome, awesome friend, Jolie. I am glad you made it as well. Hope the kids are there with you. If they are, Declan, Lorelei, Piper, good to see you guys. Glad you guys could join me. Unless Declan is still playing hockey. Oh, who else do we have here? Yep, there we go. Scotty shared his own link. Great channel, guys. Scotty does some neat stuff. Scotty, when it comes to grilling, I'm going to tell you that Scotty's probably a heck of a lot better. He is much more professional at it than I am. He knows much more about the ins and outs of it than I do. And he does a great, great job. Whiskey Harbor, glad you can make it. Awesome to have you here. Wendy Benjamin from Nova Scotia, thank you very much for joining me today. Awesome. And then I got to put this one up. My oldest daughter, Brienne, I love you. And if the kids are watching, hi, Dash. Hi, Dalton. Hey, Nick. Everything's coming in good. Blurry. Kristen Grounds, glad you can make it as well, Kristen, from Arizona. Jerry says a little foggy, but I hear you. Good. Blurry. Rum about Russ in Oregon. Glad you could make it, man. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Video isn't clear. I don't know if I can fix that. I don't know what the attachment would, what it would do. Video is pixelated today, my daughter is saying. Let me try something else here and see if this helps. Because I had another window open so that I could have it for reference, but I don't really need it. I can go off the top of my head. Hopefully that helps and make things a little better. Cozy Corner Cabin, thank you for joining me. Awesome to have you here. It's going great. It's going awesome. Thank you. Angie, how are you? Good to have you here. Glad you can make it. Not So Remote Mike, Not So Remote Alaska. Great channel, guys. Do me a favor and share that one out because Mike does some awesome, awesome stuff as well. I still love his basically 7-day preps that he does. Basically, it's like $1 a day, and he may go every week, and sometimes he'll save it up for a couple of weeks, and then he'll take whatever change he's got left over from prep grocery shopping, which means he's buying groceries that he doesn't need just for, like canned stuff just for storage. And then he'll apply that down the road further, and it's a cool, cool system. So definitely check him out as well. Deborah Sterling, awesome. Glad you could make it. My hat and hoodie match? I don't know. I've got the baseball cap on today and my Kennedy Meadows sweatshirt from 2011. Marcus, awesome to have you here, man. Thank you for joining me. Birdwatcher Gene, welcome. Hope things are warming up for you and some of that snow is melting. It is. We've got, man, the last week, I had so much rain, it was crazy. And I don't mean snow, I mean it rained. And we had a little bit of freezing rain, but mostly rain. So the temperatures are still warm, and I don't see anywhere in the forecast where they're going to come back down again. So this could be it. We could be heading into spring, which would be just incredible. It's early still. It's still February. But if we can start to melt in early March, I'm going to be a very, very happy and very busy man. So, yeah, it's been really nice. We do have snow forecast for tonight, but it's supposed to start out as snow and then switch back over again to rain and freezing rain tomorrow. Joe Montano, glad you can make it, my friend. Awesome to have you here. Right, Arthur? That's like the greatest. That's like the greatest nickname for a channel or for a person on YouTube ever. Bacon Grease. Gail, you're in Wasilla. All electronics have been acting up for 2 days. It's Alaska, right? So our communication system's probably not the most secure in the world, mainly because everything is so far spread out. So if we have storms come in, it just affects stuff like nobody's business. And we've had some wild weather. The last couple of weeks have been kind of crazy. Jeff B, awesome, man. Glad you could make it. Nice to see you as well. You went to an actual movie today and saw Uncharted? What movie is that? I haven't been to a theater in so long, and I haven't had TV in so long that I don't really see trailers unless my daughters go ahead and send them to me and let me know, hey, Dad, you got to watch this. You got to watch this. Ashley is awesome about that, and so is Brienne. They both let Dad know what's going on. Patrick Will told me to give you something from the heart, so I gave you a bird. Kathy, you're getting ready for a 2 to 3 day winter storm, and the temps are tanking. Oh, wow. Wow. Sean, when do you think that I'll start buying my building supplies? We're buying ours now, only enough to build with for 3 days at a time. So my project for this week is to start removing all of the deep snow in the area where the cabin's going to be, so that I can hopefully speed up the process of the ground thawing, and at the same time have some room to store some wood. I'm looking at starting to purchase wood in the next week or two. Basically, I want to pick up the wood for the subfloor, just the beams. I don't want to pick up the plywood and stuff and try and store those and keep them dry in the rain. So I'm going to pick up basically the dimensional lumber, or start getting the dimensional lumber in the next couple of weeks. That's the plan anyway. Oh, okay. I think I know which one you're talking about. Is that the one that's got oh, you know who I'm talking about? The guy from Ted in it as well. I think I might have actually saw a preview for that on YouTube of all things. Is that Hillywood's Life as my daughter Ashley? Based off a game you like, Marky Mark. Yeah, that's who I'm thinking. That's who I thought it was, Marky Mark, but it's not Mark. It's Mark Wahlberg. There we go. It's pretty good. Awesome. Very cool. Matt Dick, awesome to have you here. Welcome, my friend. Glad you could make it. North Carolina, I love Alaska. You lived in Fairbanks from 95 to 01. We lived in Fairbanks at the same time then, because I lived in Fairbanks from 98 till I think 01 also. That's when I left. But if you were serving, I wasn't. I was just working for Safeway, and I transferred with them down to Texas and was running bakeries for them in Texas. First time in the theater in 2 years? Wow, awesome. Nice. David Evans, glad you could make it, my friend. Awesome to have you here. And yeah, what Kathy says here, if you guys didn't see it, if you post it in caps, like as I scroll back up here, Charles did here, right? It jumps right out at me and I can answer your question right away. Right on. Hey, Patrick, thank you very much for joining me, man. Good to see you here, and hope you and Sandy have an awesome, awesome dinner. Gary B, glad you can make it, my friend. Awesome. Scroll through here. the guy from Ted, the disrespect. Nice. Charles is asking, do I have to get a building permit? They did for the fence and to cut the trees, but not for the house renovation. No. So the only thing that a permit is required for me at this point is the septic system when I put that in. And generally how that works out is the contractor that I hire to do the septic system, should I choose to go that route, will automatically get the permit when he does it. So that is the only thing that I at this point think I need a permit for from everybody I've talked to out here. But seeing how most of the codes work up here in Alaska, I can guarantee you that my place will be built to a higher standard than the code calls for anyway, because I don't want to play any games with, with snow loads and with insulation factors or any of that stuff. Foggy Mountain Man, I haven't been to the movies in 15 years, you bet. It's probably been, I'm trying to think of the last movie I saw in a theater. It's been a long time for me. It's probably been at least 4 years since I've gone to a movie. I drive by and I look and I say, oh, that looks interesting, and then I just never go. I've been way too busy to do anything like that. Jerry, make sure you put that poop in the same spot. I think that the reason why it's such a big deal, at least in my area, is because I am so close to the river. So they want to make sure that, the ground will perk properly, that it will accept the waste, and that my leach field is designed properly so that it's not contaminating everything around it. So I think that's the big issue with that. Oh, okay. That was the last movie I went and saw. I think that was too, when I took you and Nick. Yep, to see that. Wow, septic cost you $5,000. Yeah, we're probably just going to use the outhouse for a while first. Exactly, Jerry. Blackwater, as they call it. And then, so I will put in a small gray water system. And for those of you not familiar with what a gray water system is, basically it's all of the water that runs off from, say, your shower, your sinks. It doesn't have to do with human waste at all. So I'll probably put that in, because I could do that with a 55-gallon drum and a small leach field, and I can put that in myself. And then I'll probably, more than likely, I'll use the outhouse for a while. I want to make sure, like I've said multiple times, that every expense that I do on this is as much cash as possible, so I don't incur too much debt. That's the main thing I'm looking for. Oh, you know what? I think Ashley's right. Oh, Michigan Daffodil. Wait, let me bounce up here first. Elizabeth Rojas, glad you can make it. All is well here. I hope all is well with you. Michigan Daffodil, glad you can make it as well. Awesome to have you here. I'm going to get to your comment in a minute, Ash. Yeah, not to contaminate the river and the water table as well. And I don't know how deep I have to go for water here when I put the well in, but I know that they want to make sure too that your well, because we don't have city water here, everything's well, is far enough away from your septic and leach field so that you're not contaminating your own water source. She's washing dishes and listening. And I'm probably going to jump up here in a minute as well and take a look at what I got cooking on the stove and see where it's at, because I have to add things at certain times for it. And I'm not going to tell you what I'm fixing. You guys will see next week in next week's video. So I think you're right here. I think it was Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2 was the second movie that I don't know if it was that one or the Avengers, the final Avengers Endgame movie. It was one of those that was the last one that I saw in the theater, I think. Henry Leslie, Vermont, awesome to have you here. Warm night in Vermont, 25 degrees. Yeah, it's, I want to say it's 34 degrees as I look over at the thermometer right now. Liz, glad you could make it. Tonight, been a great day in Kemptville, Ontario, Canada. It's been a beautiful day here too. Matt Dick, or honey bucket until I get proper plumbing cold nights. Yeah. So I won't do a honey. I take care of the guy stand-up work without having to use the outhouse. But I've done the porta potty in the cabin thing before, and I don't want to do that again. It's dirty. It's nasty. I'm not going to do that again. I'll just go outside and use the outhouse. I've used it at 25 and 30 below zero. When I lived in Fairbanks, I used it at 45 and 50 below zero. It's not a big deal. You're just out there taking care of business and done as quick as you can. Here in Minnesota, the well and septic need to be about 75 feet apart. I think it's like 100 feet apart here, Kathy. I think that's what the issue is, that they really want to make sure that they're nowhere near each other. Okay, so since we kind of hit a lag in the comments here, we'll go back and touch upon the change. And it looks like we've got like almost 40 people in here right now. Why I moved the video release from Sunday to Friday was, like I had said before, on Monday I was getting great numbers on Sunday, but on Monday it really dropped off for me. And so this week, by releasing it on Friday, this video is the second best releasing video that I have done out of the last 10 videos that I've released. The only one that's done better than this was the Idiot in Alaska video that I did, and that one was like 1,300 views at the same time as this one right now at about 700 views. So it just by far and away made a huge difference, because I got a big view on Friday, I got a good view on Saturday, and I'm still getting views today. And then I expect it to kind of drop off tomorrow, but we'll see what happens as far as that goes. The other thing is, Friday is a really big day for YouTube, for people to view YouTube. They get home, they're having dinner, they want to watch a little something. If they're not watching TV, they may turn on, a lot of people turn on YouTube, and it gets the channel out there to more people, which is, everybody who creates a video for YouTube, that's their goal. That's what they want. They want to get as many people watching their videos as they possibly can, obviously. This video, I picked up 8 subscribers on Friday. And I have not had a video where I picked up 4 subscribers on the first day that it was released. So it was huge for me. And I'm going to stick with it because, as I had mentioned last week when we were live, I know that there's going to be some point here in spring, more than likely, that I'm just going to have too much content for one video a week. And I'm going to end up going to 2 videos. So I'm thinking what I could do is probably like a Friday and a Tuesday. The Tuesday one I would imagine would be shorter. But I think this will fall in really, really well with that. Basically with the system of releasing videos and keeping things fresh. I toyed with, a few years ago, I toyed with doing a Friday update as well when I originally moved my release date on videos, and I would do a Friday update, but you're actually going to end up getting probably 2 full videos a week. Jump back up here. Jerry, it's been pretty windy for it. Didn't have a chance out there. Nice. We're going to talk about food, are we, Liz? Cooking a really yummy smelling hamburger steak and washing all of today's dishes. Destiny, glad you can make it. Awesome to have you here. Oh. The last movie you went to see was Lawless. Oh, that's a long time ago, man. That's been a while. So Deborah brings up a great point. If you guys are not familiar with it, and if somebody would go out and find her channel, because I haven't seen her in here, so I don't know if Stacy's in here or not. Cabin Dweller's got an awesome channel. She has a great water system. Water tank is in her cabin. She hauls water to fill it up, and she doesn't have a well. That's probably what I'm going to do in the beginning as well. So the layout of the cabin, I want you to imagine the screen, for example, right, as the shape of the cabin. It's going to be 20 feet by 24 feet. And then over on that side, there we go, over on, geez, I can never remember which way to point. You know what, Sean, just point at the window. Okay, so over on that side, right, is going to be bathroom, and then kitchen, and then in the middle of the two is going to be a pantry. So my plan is that I'll probably have water storage in the pantry to begin with, so that I can have water for the sink, and I'll just use an RV pump to make that work. I'll have water in the sink, and I'll have water in the bathroom sink that way. I'm also going to rig a temporary shower system. I will have a full bathroom in there, even though most of it won't be plumbed, but I'll make sure that I have the shower plumbed so that I could quit going over to Brother Will's and having to use his shower. Just make it easy. But Cabin Dweller's got an awesome channel. And speaking of which, she just sent me, these are so cool. She just sent me some of these cards. Right? Look at that. Oh, back it up. There we go. Right? She sent me this. She sent me this. Wait a minute. Let me get it up there. She sent me this one. And it was because she did a live, and she had a contest in her live where she was doing basically asking trivia questions, and we answered them all. And I love these, right? Because this is what I won. But then she had a book too, and I'm all, man, I would have loved to get that book. So she actually said, got you the book. You seem like you really wanted it. And I'm going to start reading this tonight. But it's called The Last Patrol, Following the Trail of the Royal Northwest Mounted Police Legendary Lost Patrol by Keith Billington. So this will be an awesome, awesome read. And Stacy, if you see this after the fact, or if you're in here now, thank you very much. So awesome. So very cool. Stacy actually moved her video releases to Friday this week as well. So it'll be interesting to see how it worked out for her, because she got in on the live discussion where the whole thing came up and where the suggestion was made. And she said that sounded great. So she tried it too. Liz, customer Julie making new jewelry for the upcoming farmers market season. I didn't know you did that. That is awesome, Liz. Very cool. Okay, now I got to watch it because my daughter Ashley says Lawless is a great movie. How do I do with average view duration with a 30-minute video? On average, my videos get about 38% view time. It doesn't matter the length. This week's video got less than that, but because I picked up subscribers, I'm extremely happy with it either way. It's crazy, right? So Idiot in Alaska didn't have the view time, but got a ton of subscribers from it, right? The same and a ton of views. And the same thing happened with this video. It didn't get a whole bunch of view time. I got great view time because of the total views on it, but I picked up subscribers. So generally speaking, my videos get anywhere from 38 to 44% view time. And that means that on average, that's how much of the video was watched by the entire group of people that watch my video. And it doesn't really matter how long it is. Sometimes if I go really long, the view time drops. And then what I'll do is you'll see me release a short video and it kind of spikes and I get a lot of view time out of it. And then it goes back to that 35 to 40% of the video viewed. Castle Hives, glad to have you here, man. Awesome. Glad you can make it. Where am I getting my materials? Arthur asks. So we have two choices up here. Well, there's more than two, and I'm probably going to call a couple of the oddball ones because I'd be interested to see what their pricing is. The Big Orange store, right? Home Depot. They're here in town, and they've got everything pretty much all the time. But we have a local distributor also called SBS, Bernard Builder Supply. So I'm going to sit down. I can take my plans to them, and they'll actually work me up a whole quote for the entire project. So I'm probably going to do that because that's what they do. And then we have Builder's Choice up here as well. So that's the one that I don't really know anything about. I would really most likely lean to SBS if possible because they are a And I think they're probably a conglomerate now, but they're very much Alaskan local. They do a lot of bush business. They've been in Alaska forever. So if I can, I'd like to keep the business with them. Okay, you guys, really? Is it pick on Sean time? She is. Stacy's a nice lady. I think if that's who you're talking about, Jerry, she's awesome. And thank you very much for sharing that, Kathy. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Trudy, glad you can make it. Awesome to have you here. Just dropping by to say hi and wish me well. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really do. All right. Oh, SBS is owned by a Canadian company. Well, that's good. Then we keep it north, right? I'm good with that as well, too. You guys chat amongst yourself for a second. I got to peek at this real quick. Oh. I've got the big blue pot over here right now. You know it's serious if I'm using the big blue pot. Oh, that smells delicious. Oh, that smells so good. Lindsay Salmon's glad you could make it. Awesome to have you here. Madhu Nanda. I don't know if I pronounced that properly. Let me know if I did. Mandu Nanda. Well, welcome anyway. Glad you could be here. So, my weekend, pretty awesome. I've made no secret that I really, really enjoy going to beer festivals. There's 3 of them a year that are pretty huge that I really, really enjoy. One is the Alaska Barley Wine Festival, which a couple of videos ago you saw me driving up to Anchorage and back for that. And I usually go up there and volunteer, which means I'm pouring beer for one of the breweries, and it's been the Kenai River Brewing Company, my favorite local brewery, for the last few years. And then we have a summer beer festival here in Soldotna as well. And I really enjoy going. It's not summer, it's August. So it's kind of, the tourists are kind of trending down. So it's a bunch of locals. It's outdoors. It's always a good time. But my favorite one is the one that I attended last night, which is the Frozen River Festival. I did record some video, but there's only so much you guys are going to want to see when it comes to a beer festival. And because there's live music playing, there's copyright issues with how long the segments could be without me getting in trouble for copyright infringement. So I have bits and pieces that I'll show you all the way through to the fireworks show at the end, which is always awesome. But it only goes to about 8 o'clock. Still makes for a really long day. We're standing outside last night. It's 22 degrees on ice, listening to live music, drinking great craft beers, cider, local wines, local mead, and just had a fantastic time. The funny thing is, though, it doesn't matter how late I stay up, because obviously I didn't go right to bed when the festival was over. I stay in town. I actually stay a 5-minute walk away from the park where they have it. But I'm going to wake up. I work Monday through Friday from 4 in the morning till noon every week. And once you get on that routine, I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day off. So it doesn't matter how late I stay up, I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, Stacy and her videos are awesome. Oh, from California. Awesome. What part of California? That's where I'm originally from. Lisa Johnson, glad you could make it. Awesome to have you here from Minnesota. Very cool. And I was close? Good. Good. I'm glad I was close anyway. Henry Leslie, thank you for making it, man. Awesome to have you here. I'm glad you could pop in for a bit. I'm not making chili. I thought about making chili, but that's a much longer process for me. That's an all-day process. So no, I'm not making chili. WCAM Studios checking in. You're in South Dakota on a road trip. Awesome, man. Good to have you here. I haven't seen you in a while. You are coming up though in spring. Are you coming up in the spring or the summer? What's your plans? Let me know, man. Or if you don't want to let me know on here, you've got my email, and you've got my phone number too. So just send me a message by all means. I'd like to catch up and find out what your plans are doing. Oh, Rhonda grilled you a big old steak today. That's yummy, huh? So one of the things that you'll see in next week's video at the beer festival is there's a local company called Bafco. And then you always see me wearing the black hat with the fish, the neon orange fish embossed on the side. That's a Bafco hat. They make those hats, and I just love them. They're super comfortable. But they make, basically they're a fire pit barbecue manufacturing company up here, grill manufacturing company up here. And they do these fire pits with beautiful laser etching all the way around. They're just gorgeous. But they have this huge, basically a grill. When you see it, it'll blow your mind. It's very cool. Well, at the end of the night, last night, they took a couple of ribeye steaks and threw them on there and then diced them up for everybody. And we're giving samples away to the people that were there at the very end. Just awesome. A ton of stuff. There she is. Stacy. We've been talking about you all night long. Were your ears ringing? I was showing off my cards. And I was showing off my book. Glad you make it, Stacy. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so Scotty says I'm not blurry anymore. It must have been having that other tab open was too much for my internet to be able to handle. So I won't do that. I won't leave the other tabs open. Video cleared up now? Good. Awesome. Very cool. Charles loves Beer Festival. A lot of fun and free stuff. Yeah, they're just a ton of fun. And, like I said, talking about it last week on the live, it's not an adult-only event. This event, it's all kinds of the ages are probably 100 to newborns that are there. It's crazy how many people are there. And yes, I wore the kilt. There's really no pictures of me, though, because I was the only guy there with my camera. So I was there by myself. But the number of comments I got last night were, "Oh my God, you're wearing a kilt?" There we go. Kathy shared the winter one that I do. That is awesome. That is fun. And we saw Stacy here, Cabin Dweller. Glad you can make it. Okay. Couldn't get a ferry until July. Might have to fly up in the spring. Just let me know, man. Let me know when you're going to be here. Definitely. I'd love to hook up together and definitely do lunch again. Just got back from town. I filmed a lot, but I didn't film at all because, like I said, it's with live music playing in the background, there's way too many copyright infringements. If you play longer than 5 or 10 seconds of music, then I risk YouTube saying, "Oh, you're losing your monetization." In Los Angeles County, Southern California. So I was from Tuolumne County, which is just north of Yosemite National Park. Right on. Let's plan a family trip around one of the beer festivals. I agree. But knowing how you feel about cold weather, Brianne, I'm thinking that it'd probably be the August one. I don't think you want to be, because the February one, the one that I just went to last night, it doesn't matter what's going on with the weather, it's going on. So the first year that I was there, it was 20 degrees below zero, and everybody was still there. And then last night it was like 22 above zero, but icy beyond belief. So everybody is there, and everybody is wearing cleats. And then a couple of years ago, it was probably 25 and 3 or 4 feet of snow on the ground. I mean, they had to shovel paths before they opened the festival so that people could walk. It was crazy. Yeah, that is the bane for every YouTube creator that uses music, and I like to use music, is you can get in a lot of trouble with YouTube if you use somebody's music without permission and you don't go through a pay service. And I don't use a pay service. So all of the music that I use is free music that I get from YouTube. The name of the festival from last night is the Soldotna Frozen River Fest. So if you look up Soldotna, Soldotna, Frozen River Fest or Festival, you should find something for it. Scotty's asking, can I drill a well, or is there no? No, there is a water table. So everybody around me has a well, and the water in this area is pretty good. But that doesn't mean that, my neighbor could go 80 feet and get good water, and the neighbor on the other side of me could go 60 feet and get good water, and I could have to go 130 feet to get water. So I don't know what that depth is going to be on it yet, and I'm not even going to look at that for a while. That's that's way down the road. I have way too many options I could do besides that. Tuolumne County Gold Country. Yep, Scotty's from there too. Ashley, she's down to plan a trip. Brianne, it's not the cold, it's the wet I hate. Well, it's not wet. It's frozen. So there's no water. And Lindsay says, you drill wells here, but you have to get the water tested in Alaska because there's so many volcanoes, the water could make you sick. And there is a lot of, what is the word I'm thinking of? What is the chemical I'm thinking of? So because we have so much gold in the ground, there is a chemical that goes with that, arsenic. So a lot of wells can have an arsenic issue. And that's why you're going to have to get the water tested, generally speaking. I know in areas of Fairbanks, you can't drink the water at all because it's been contaminated from the military bases that have been there forever, and from the local refinery that they had up there for the longest time. So there's a big swath of property in the North Pole, Alaska area that you can't put a well in at all. There's nothing you can do about it. Looking to buy a cabin in Alaska this year, any suggestions? So I get a lot of people that ask me about buying real estate in Alaska, and the first thing I tell them is just Google MLS Alaska, and that will give you the multiple listing site for the entire state of Alaska, and then you could look at price ranges for property in every part of the state. I mean, you could find property in Homer. You could break it down by price. The Anchorage area will be probably the most expensive in the state outside of Juneau, but most people are not going to be looking to buy a place in Juneau anyway. But Anchorage would be your number one expensive place. Fairbanks would probably be number two. Homer would be number three. Having said that, outside of those areas, like Soldotna is pretty expensive, but I live 16 miles out of Soldotna, and you coming from California, 16 miles is not a big drive to us, right? We'll sit in a 5-mile drive, we'll sit in traffic for 2 hours. So 16 miles with no traffic is no problem at all. So once you get on the outskirts of all the major cities, property prices drop drastically. So if you want to buy a cabin, it's obviously going to cost you a lot more. If you're looking for raw land, that'll be much less expensive. But then if you're going to hire a contractor, the price goes up too. So I would just say do an MLS Alaska search on Google, and that will get you a really good idea of the price ranges in the areas that you might be interested in. Mike and Angie, me and you, Acres, awesome to have you guys here. How you doing? I hope you're doing fantastic. I hope you got your blankets still hanging everywhere they need to be hanging. That's an inside joke with them and I. Russell, Raspberry Rock Off Grid. Glad you could make it, man. Awesome to have you here. Mark Campbell, glad you could make it as well. Yeah, see, Lindsay's got her comment here, or his comment here. I don't know why I keep, every time I see your name, Lindsay, I automatically, without seeing your picture, think of another Lindsay that views the channel all the time. You're not going to get more than a few acres here for less than 50 grand, and that's without a cabin on it, unless you want to be pretty much in the middle of nowhere. You could buy 10 or 20 acres for 30 grand, but you're going to be in the middle of nowhere, and you're going to be in property that's very difficult to get to. Evan Stadler, glad you can make it. Awesome to have you here, man. And cash is king, right? For some, cash is king pretty much everywhere. Prices are very negotiable, but you really want to see the land that you're going to buy in the thaw. And the reason why I say that is one of the key words to always look out for on Alaskan real estate is the words prime moose habitat, because that means that the land is a swamp. The best time to see your land is in spring, or even up to middle of summer, so that you can make sure that the ground, if you're buying raw land, is, or even if you're buying a cabin, you could be buying a cabin on 20 acres, and the only part of that 20 acres that's really usable is where the cabin is, and the other 19 and a half acres is swamp. So definitely, do your prime moose habitat, do your due diligence, and make sure you're looking at the land in the wet seasons, in the spring when we have breakup, and then in the summer as well, to make sure that you're getting good property. Oh, awesome. Kathy just posted the link there, MLS.com. Nice. Plenty of blankets. Nice. Yeah, so he got almost 3 acres up here for $30,000. So my place is 1.5 acres, or roughly just under 1.5 acres, and I paid 10 for it. And there's a lot of property out in my area that runs right around 10,000 an acre. Some of it is landlocked a little further out, and that means that there's really no road that gets to it, and you're going to have to work with easements with other property owners to be able to get into your property that goes for a lot less. So there was one place I saw here that was 10 acres, and they only wanted 36,000 for it. But that was one of the issues, was it was landlocked, so it'd be difficult. My response time is so much better in this video. Thanks, Ash. Yeah, he's going to be my neighbor. Arsenic. Yep, that's it, Liz. Arsenic. Wherever there's arsenic, there's gold, generally speaking. And Alaska still has a lot of untouched gold. Lindsay, out in the middle of nowhere, float plane. Yeah, you can get it. But yeah, or you could, there's properties that you can get that will take a four-wheeler to get there year round, or there's properties that you can get that you can only access pretty much, like Lindsay says here, via float plane or via snow machine in the winter. And a great example of that would be the cabin that Eric and Ariel bought from Simple Living Alaska. Their off-grid cabin, they have two choices to get, well, three. So they can take a float plane in during the summer. They can take their boat up the river during the summer, but then during the winter, they can fly in, or they can take their snow machines in. And it's beautiful land. Don't get me. I mean, you want to talk about wilderness and gorgeous, but it's pretty difficult if you have to maintain a job like I do and get back and forth to work every day. Ward, what's happening, man? Glad you can make it. Awesome. Prime moose habitat. It's like the most trip out of the Cheetah Hot Springs. Yeah, exactly, right? It is. It is. Almost, and it's, you don't realize it in winter, all right? So if you walk my driveway right now, you think this is so solid, it's crazy. If you walk my driveway at the beginning of winter, you think this is so solid, it's crazy. But the minute the thaw hits, and we call that breakup up here, that's when all the ice and everything starts to break up, the rivers start to break up, everything starts flowing again. You get a really good idea for how squishy the ground can be. Because my driveway gets pretty squishy when spring hits, and then it dries out, but definitely. I did, Ward. It was awesome, man. It was a wonderful time. Hung out with Joe and Doug, the owners of Kenai River Brewing Company. Everybody there was there. There's never any trouble at that festival. There's never any fights. There's no stupid people. It's just a ton of fun. Well, thanks, Bowie. Getting good at these. Nice. Oh, okay. So JD, are we getting any eggs? Yes, we're getting eggs. So the chickens were laying for most of the last couple of months. Maybe I've got 9 chickens. I was getting maybe 2 eggs a week, and the problem, maybe 3. The problem was that it was so cold that by the time I got to them, they were frozen and cracked, and I really couldn't use them because I do go to work every day, and I wasn't home when they were laying. And then all of a sudden, I started getting like 2 eggs a day, and then 3 eggs a day, and then 4 eggs a day, and now I'm at 5 eggs a day. So they are laying just massive quantities. So I'm going to throw some on the local community tab and see if I can't get some of these sold. My goal is not to make money off the eggs. My goal is to basically pay for the feed. So if I can sell an 18-pack for $5 and I can sell 5 of those, that will pay for the feed for the chickens. And a bag of feed this time of year lasts me about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. During the summer, it lasts a lot longer because the chickens are out eating bugs and everything else. So they're not eating as much feed. So yeah, they are starting to lay the eggs massively. Not a problem at all, man. If you've got any more questions and I can help you answer them or point you in the right direction, let me know. Send me an email. I'll get back to you. Not a problem at all. I'll point you in the right direction. How much longer before I get around to getting this year's garden going? I have to wait for the snow, boo. Yeah, I have to wait for the snow to melt before I can do anything. So the area is all cut out. As soon as the snow is gone, my neighbor's got a tractor. He said he'll come in here and I'll pay him a couple of $100 to level out the pad area one last time before I start building. And then I'm going to have him scrape the whole area where the garden is. And we'll do that when it's wet because it'll be easier to get all that crap off of there. And at that point, I'll be doing both. So I'll be I'll fence in the garden area and I'll start building the cabin. And I don't, I've said it a couple of times, I'm not going to build, it's 20 by 40. There's no way I'm going to have that whole garden ready to go because I'm just doing it by myself. But I'll plant at least a third of it. I'd like to do potatoes, onions, beets. I'd like to grow some chard, maybe some kale and some lettuce. And I'll probably hold off on carrots only because I need to make sure my ground is right before I try and plant those. So yeah, that's the basic root stuff is what I'm going to start with. Yeah, you probably don't want cyanide in your water either. I agree. Okay, so their main house where they have the garden and the woodshed and they built the bathroom and everything else, where most of their videos were done, is road accessible. They drive to and from town from that place. But then they bought an off-grid cabin, and it already existed. It was already built, and they've been going out there and fixing it up. That place is remote. That place is, you can't drive to it. So the first winter when they went out there, it was snow machines, and then when they bought their boat, they made sure they got the river boat that would actually take them up through the current to get them to the lake that their property's on. So yeah, that second piece of property is off-grid and remote. Birdwatcher Gene's asking me, do many properties there also come with own mineral rights? No. Okay, so in Alaska, there are very few pieces of property that you actually can own the mineral rights to as well. And that was part of the agreement when they became a state. That was how the state was going to support itself. And that's how part of the from what I understand, part of the procedure to get them accepted as a state of the union instead of a territory. So it was part of statehood. That is also why eventually we got what we call the permanent fund dividend, which is royalties paid on natural resources, generally speaking oil, to the state. It gets a certain amount of that gets put into a fund, and that fund generates more money continually. And I think at last check, that fund was like $54 billion. And every year, each resident of Alaska will get a check based on a formula. And they've played with the formula for the last couple of years. But so no, most people up here don't have the mineral rights to their property. Mark's asking, am I going to mill the wood for my camp? I will eventually probably mill some wood. I'm not set up. I don't have a mill, and I don't want to spend the money to buy a mill because my trees are generally too small to make decent lumber out of. And that's why I got Mike from, Not So Remote. He has a mill. So if I need any special wood, I can just call Mike and say, hey, Mike, give me a price on this. And he can see if he's got it and he can mill it out for me. But no, I probably won't mill much. I'm going to definitely get an Alaskan chainsaw mill for the chainsaw, just so I can do some different stuff. I would like to play around with that. And I would like to do eventually a log, maybe bunkhouse on the property, but that'll be down the road. The first focus is the main cabin and then getting the garden going this year. Am I putting gravel down on my driveway? So when I built the driveway, it was 11 dump trucks of gravel to cover the area where the trailer's parked here and the driveway to the road. And that was, 2.5 years ago now? And I have not put anything else down on it. This year, I will probably have more gravel brought in, and I'll probably top everything off and clean it off again because I'd like to do an updated video on how to use a plate compactor. No. I would like to get a nice, after driving on it for a while, you're going to get ruts, and mine has actually been pretty good. I have videos of how I did the whole thing, but it has not even come close to failing. So I'm pretty satisfied with that. But I would like to build it up a bit, get rid of those ruts, and get it a little more sturdy than it is right now. And I'm keeping up, but yeah, definitely post your questions in all caps. And if I missed your question and it wasn't in caps, that's probably why I missed it. Ask it again, by all means. I'm not going to ignore anybody's questions. Lindsay's saying now there's some land out in Port Allsworth for 20 grand. Yeah, but there's an HOA there, and I don't want a homeowners association ever. I want no part of that. That was a big deal for me when I bought the piece of property that I did, was it couldn't have a homeowners association, because if I want to paint my cabin purple, I'm painting the cabin purple. If I want to have a hog, I'm getting a hog. If I want to have not only the chickens, but I want to have roosters and turkeys and everything else, then I don't want a group that can tell me I can't have that. That works for a lot of people, but it doesn't work for me. Yeah, a lot of eggs, right? A lot of eggs. So like I said, at 5 a day, right? 3 or 4 days, I've got an 18 pack. It's freaking awesome. Tom Teal from Monterey, California. Awesome to have you here, man. Glad you could join. Been down your way quite often. Grew up down that way. I was actually born in San Francisco, so spent a lot of time running up and down the coast when I was younger. Yeah, nope, no problem, Gene. No problem at all. I caught your comment. So Charles is asking here, what type of wood am I going to use on my build, pine or spruce? Doug fir, right? I mean, that's generally what you're going to get from, the lumber mills or the lumber yards here. So it's the cabin walls will be 2x6 framing. The floors will be 2x8. The main beams on the sonotubes, because the cabin is going to be built on sonotubes off the ground. Those will be 2x10s probably, tripled up. So, and you would win that bet, Russell. Went to Alaska twice before in the last 2 years. Each time you didn't want to come back. The rule is, your third time you have to stay. I'm sorry, it's a rule that we have. No, that was me. I always said if I ever went to Alaska a third time, I wouldn't come back. And pretty much the third time was when I moved to Fairbanks to begin with. And I did end up going back, but in my mind, I knew I was always going to end up here. Alaska's funny. You either absolutely love it here and never want to leave, or you absolutely hate it here and can't get out fast enough. There's really no middle ground. And I think that it's not the winter and it's not the short hours of daylight that get most people. I think what gets most people is the combination of the whole year. So during the summer, our sun is out forever, right? And your body just gets out of whack. And if you're not an outdoor person, that's not something you're going to be into. And then during the winter, we get the short days and the cold weather. And if you're not an indoor person, that's not something you're ever going to get into. So it's you either love it or you hate it. And you'll know after the first year. And if it's harder and harder every time for you to leave, you're probably in the group that I'm in. Right? Yeah, exactly, Kathy. I'm going to go with that. And the reason why I'm doing the kale and the chard, and I, I was so anti-kale, it was ridiculous. And my kids could tell you this. I'm weird about trends and fads, and everybody likes it. Well, if everybody likes it, I don't want it. Um, but we had a salad bar at work before the whole, madness started in 2020, and they ended up taking it out after that. And every day I started putting kale on a salad, and that stuff is yummy on salad. Man, it's good. So that's the main reason why I want to plant kale is for salad more than anything else, so I can have fresh salads all summer long. And I want to play with tomatoes, but I won't get too carried away on that at the beginning because I'm going to have to build kind of a hothouse there. Be charming. I didn't say hello to you. Welcome. Glad you could make it. I'd like to do some cabbage too, but I've said it before. My kids are in here. They can verify it. I can go I could go crazy when it comes to gardening. I could go overboard very quickly. So I need to make sure that this first year I don't get too carried away because I got other stuff going on. And then, of course, Ashley has to come up with Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. Mark, I will eventually, but I don't have a deck yet. So I have to wait till I build the deck before I can do the deck plants. But I am a big fan of throwing fresh herbs, edible flowers, hanging berry baskets and stuff from the deck. I really love doing that. I think that's a huge way to take advantage of every square foot and every space that you can to grow food. Get $600 to $300, yeah, at the most per person, right? He's talking about the PFD, the permanent fund. You can look for gold. You can, and you can actually stake a claim, but that's hard work. That's hard work. If you ever pan gold, I pan gold for fun once. I don't think my hands have ever been that cold in my life, and I was a young man when I did it. Right? But the sawmill is such fun. Yeah, I know. Right? Cabbage does great up here. I want to go to the state fair this year and get a bunch of pictures of the vegetables in Alaska because I think it'll blow your mind. I think you hear stories until you actually see them. It'll blow your mind. Right? Yeah, people are going to do that up here that think it's a neat hobby are going to do exactly what Lindsay's doing. Prospect every summer for a month just for the fun. You get some gold. You've paid for your trip. It's a ton of fun. Nice, Russell. Thank you. Glad to hear that. This is just off the hotspot on my cell phone. So I upgraded my plan, and maybe they threw me in a different tier with what I'm allowed. But when I upgraded my plan, because I was coming up just this short every month with, the amount of stuff that I watch on YouTube and with my uploads, that when I had to go up, or else I was paying for extra data to hotspot. And when I actually increased my plan, my price went down $5 a month. So it was awesome. And maybe I just got put on a better system. I like that. I'll cover that for you. Yeah, the guy that did my work with his bulldozer and with the gravel, he has a dump truck and he has a bulldozer of his own, and it was very reasonable. And he works for himself out here in Funny River, so definitely. See, that's cool. Just a vacation home, because, right then your options are so much better for what you will accept, as opposed to somebody who's going to be living here year round, because you're looking for something that you're just going to use a certain amount of the year. That's your options are much greater than most people that are going to be buying up here. Good egg baked casserole with me, right? Sounds like frittata. Sounds like frittata. Tom, I'm streaming on my phone. I have a Verizon plan up here, and it's the plan that I had when I was in California, so I never changed it or my phone number when I moved up here. And so I'm just hotspotting off my phone right now, and it seems to be working great. It won't work in the summer. I already know that, because our system becomes too taxed when everybody's here fishing. But for as long as I can use it and go live, I think I'll just keep going live. I'm trying to scroll through here to get as many of these comments in that I have. Mike, glad you can make it. Awesome to have you here. Because we're getting down towards the end already, and I'm behind, and I hate being behind. Talkeetna is beautiful. It's so neat there. Right? Yeah, there is no place. Alaska makes Yosemite National Park look like Golden Gate Park in San Francisco. It's just so pristine and wild and beautiful. Awesome. Working towards retiring here. It's legal and it's big up here in Alaska right now. It really is. Yes. Yeah. So they call it Joe's Scramble, scrambled eggs and spinach. It'd be the same thing doing a saute kale in the scrambled eggs too. But I like it in a salad. And I'm funny with my veggies. I like chard, for example, sauteed, spinach sauteed up with olive oil. But those are pretty much the only two veggies I like, greens that I like sauteed up. Awesome. Heading to heading to Alaska in about 3 months in your van. Very cool. Very cool. And I don't know how to pronounce that. D-Y-I Keaton Osmer. I hope I got that right. No, no. Cilantro is the anti-herb. It is never allowed in my house. I can't. When I eat cilantro, it tastes like I'm eating soap. I cannot eat cilantro. Very, very limited quantities. Right? Yeah, definitely. You're nocturnal. Very cool. Someday I'll tell the story about nocturnal and my brothers. Scotty, brisket's good on a salad. Yes, roasted baked sliced cabbage is awesome. And my ex-wife, Brianne and Ashley's mom, made a red cabbage, basically kind of a coleslaw, and I believe it was a warm dish with apples that was out of this world. Incredible. And I think she got the recipe out of Field and Stream magazine. You're as far north as you want to go. Yeah, if you're not a fan of the cold in the winter, you probably don't want to be here. You probably don't want to be here. Nice. That makes it easy, living out of the van. Very nice. Was it the State Fair in Palmer in 2019? Awesome place. Yeah. I think last year was the first year they had it again. I don't think they had it in 2020. Liz, thank you for joining. Awesome to have you as always. Awesome to have your support with the views and everything else, folks, it looks like we're just about to the end. So I'm going to probably have to kill it with that comment. But I want to thank everybody for showing up for these lives. You guys, I really look forward to this. I really enjoy the heck out of all the responses that I get and all of the interaction that I get on the videos, and the lives just make it that much more fun because it's right now, right away. I want to thank the moderators that were in the channel sharing the links. Scotty, Kathy, thank you guys both for taking care of business. I much appreciate that. I'm going to scroll down to the end here, but we're probably going to blast out. If I don't have, I got Hoagie Dogman. I didn't even see you come in. Thank you for joining me. Yes, I'm going to have a wood stove in the cabin. As I fly down here to the bottom. Yeah, I can't. I get the weird soap taste. My grandmother was the same way. I think it's got to be just one of those hereditary things. Looks like we're done, and I got pretty much everybody. If I missed your comment this week, by all means, send me a message. I have a Facebook page. Follow the Facebook page. Send me an email. Let me know what your question was. I'd love to answer it. You guys have a fantastic week. Thank you as always. I'm Sean in Alaska, and it's time to head out of here. Have a wonderful week. It's going to be beautiful this week, no matter where you're at. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.